because I'm very like structure systems, and these stories were vague to me. I didn't know like, but what is it about? And I need to have the point, the bullet points, the specific numbers, like the specific thing, like the way to do this.
Welcome to Who Cares About My Story, the podcast on how sharing your personal brand story can impact your business. We will explore the perks and also the behind the scenes challenges of figuring out what to share. I'm your host, Reme Mancera, a personal brand strategist who loves finding the story connectors that illustrate the benefits of what you offer. And by the way, you don't need a Hollywood style for that. In case you ever wonder, remember, your story is relevant and worth telling. Welcome, Alessandra. I am so glad to have you here in Who Cares About My Story podcast.
Hi, Reme. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, so please tell us who you are and what you do.
Okay, so I am a certified online business manager and a systems strategist. I own a company, Systems in Place, where together with my team, we streamline, automate, organize the businesses, and we provide the peace of mind to business owners. We give them more time so that they can focus on what really matters. Either it's like growing the business for them, or they want to spend more time with their families. When their backend is running smoothly, they can do what they want. So this
Nice,
is what we do.
cool. And how do you get into what you do now? What's your story?
Yeah, so I started in the finance departments of big corporations. I was in PwC and others because this was my major. My major in university was like finance and accounting. So I went like this path, and I found myself really like bored with this. I wasn't passionate about this. I didn't see the big purpose of doing this and the big results coming from it. So yeah, like there was a time in my life that I thought like, no, I need to do something. I need to just change something, and I found the remote job online in the American startup, and I started working there. As in a startup, it's always like a lot more things to do than the time that you have for this. So then I started to check like how I can optimize it, how I can make this task in 1 hour, not 3 hours. And I found like a lot of tools, a lot of like ways to do stuff that are like quicker. And then like that's when the passion for systems happened, like appeared in me, and I was like, I found out that I love the tools, I love like systems structure, all of this, and I founded my company. I started to work with clients more like on the virtual assistant base on like on I was doing the tech and systems, and then I just grew like with team members to be able to help more clients and so on. So this is my story.
Nice. And could you please tell us how sharing your story has impacted your business?
Yeah, so for sure, a lot of people resonated with this. Like having a lot of things to do and not having the time to do this. And there, this is the moment, like for a lot of people, that they just do this stuff in this, like they are sitting 12 hours, and they do do the work, right? And this is the different path, like find the way to do this quicker. Right
Mm,
now, like I help, I help my clients, like I find the ways to do this quicker. I also share with my audience, the ways, the tips, the tools, like on how they can make life easier, like how they can make this quicker, more effective, and so on. So I see that a lot of people resonated with this, and because they are in this place where they are just overwhelmed, too many
Mm.
tasks. They would like to go, like go forward, progress with their business, like have more time, but because it's just firefight mode, that
Mm.
you have the task, then you have the another task, and so on, and you don't have this space really to, zoom out and take a look, like, but what am I doing, how I could, like organize it, maybe somehow, how I can make this one task, maybe to spend 15 minutes longer for this, but to create a system, like with the links, or set up some tool that will next time do this task for me, or help me do this task 10 minutes quicker. So yes, this is like how people like see how they can do this on their own or with help of someone else.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I know that you love systems, and you love to make things easier for your clients. So I would love to ask you, what would be your number one advice for someone that want to start optimizing their systems?
Okay, so here, like the first thing that you need to know when you want to start optimizing, streamlining, you need to know where your time is going.
Mm.
And very often, like what I see happens very often, people are not aware of where they spend their time on. So they are not tracking their times, and they think, okay, like this, let's say you have 8 hours, you had like 5 tasks on the agenda, there is the end of the day, and you did two of them. Like three are still left, and you're thinking like, but what did I do? I was doing these tasks. And then it's, for one of my clients, she found out that she spent 4 hours per day in her email inbox.
Oh.
Just she had this, thing that every time her email was open in the tab, and every time someone emailed her, she needed to take a look. She needed to respond
Mm.
right away, and this way she was doing this, like she was letting this reactive mode to go into her, and instead of really being proactive and doing her own tasks, she was replying to other people that didn't, like, maybe there were some urgent things, but even if you take a look at them like twice a day, it's enough, it's okay, if there is something urgent, probably people have your phone number or anything. So when we found out that this is the, like, really time sucker that is like eating up her time, we could streamline this. We could delegate some of the email inbox. We could create systems and rules for her that helps her, get out of the inbox. And then
Mm.
she had like 4 hours a day extra to do the tasks, and it's not like the three extra tasks that she was about to do, but she was doing even more because, you know this, even energy shifts, when
Yeah.
you switch the tab, it takes you like around 23 minutes to refocus again, and it's crazy. So this is the first thing I really suggest, and I work on, like, with every of my clients. I'm doing this, like, 2 week time tracking. I i have the tool for this. I'm using Toggle, and this is the way they should start, or with any other tool, but just like keep consistent, like see where your time goes, and then you can see, and you can just make this task like streamlined, get rid of them, delegate, automate. But this all starts with where your time goes.
Yeah, I love that. I remember I also use that the same tool. And I remember how eye-opening was for me to have like the real timing of, okay, how I am investing my time. And I keep
Mhm.
doing that because it gives me a lot of perspective, especially when I am starting a new project like this podcast, or even any other project inside my business. It's like, okay, in my mind, maybe things will take X number of time, and
Yeah.
then everything takes longer, and you want to know how you invest your time so you can optimize. So love that. I'll make sure that we share the links in the description also about this.
Mhm.
So back to the personal brand story.
Mhm.
Have you ever wondered who will care about your story?
Oh yes, yes, of course. It's it's always like this that probably like you may think like, but who am I to share my story? Like, why is it even help? Why does it even help? And so on. But then with the simple message that you would not even like expect this message. Just an example, I shared the way of doing things quicker on LinkedIn. It was about the text expander tool, and I got the message back that like, wow, this is saving me so much time. Thank you so much for sharing this. Like I implemented this, and now I'm using this every day, and I'm writing like my emails like take quicker, like I can make so much more. So this small messages gives you this kind of purpose and feeling that wow, it was worth it, because you never I see, and I always I also like underestimate the effect, the impact I can have like with my words on someone who is reading. And
Mm,
I assume that people, this is something like I knew from the years, for years already. Probably like everyone knows this. And I hear people saying like, oh, I've never heard about this. Like, this is so cool. How to do this? Show me. And this shows that everyone is different, everyone knows their own has their own expertise, and it's worth to share your story, to share your expertise with others, because you never know whose life you can save, like who
yeah.
you can help.
Yeah. And I know that you have done a lot of focus on your LinkedIn and your content there. How has been your experience sharing your pieces of your personal stories there and connecting those with your business and the work that you do with your clients? How has been your experience on that?
Yeah, so i have like I have a lot of like posts that are sharing my stories, that are sharing specific ways that like, I work with people, and that like we did together these story connectors that I use. And um, just an example of these puzzles that I'm sharing, that the puzzles, I love puzzles from the kit.
Mm,
And this is how I see also the business, that there are specific like missing puzzles, and I'm not picking the any other puzzle. I'm picking the specific ones and putting them in the specific place, and then your business works smoothly, right? So this small thing. And when I'm speaking with people then in the DMs, they remember this. They were
mm,
like, "Oh, by the way, I love puzzles as well," and it really resonated with me, then that analogy with the puzzles, right? So even like if I'm sharing like educational content, and people love it, right? But then what connects them with me is the stories, because they remember the
mm,
stories. And I have the same. I remember the stories that people say. And
mm,
when then I see their posts, their content, I'm like, oh, this is Susie, like she posted, like she had this story about her kid and something. So this is like how I remember people as well. So yeah, very, I think this is very useful, and I'm happy uh, that I worked on my mindset. You helped me structure this properly, and uh, I'm sharing them right now.
Yeah, yeah, thank you for sharing that. And yeah, it was lovely to work together on your story connectors and exploring which parts to share and what how to connect those with your skills and the benefits of what you do for your clients. I'm curious, so do you how did you decide to work on that, to bring someone to help you in that part of your business? How was that process?
Yeah. So from the beginning, I I wasn't sure like what to share, what I should share, what I shouldn't share,
Mm,
because there is this kind of thing about like being vulnerable. You don't want to admit that you had the same problem, like because it, you know, you should be like perceived as an expert and so on, and you don't want to share like some personal stuff because this is your personal thing. And when I saw, we had the virtual coffee chat, I think,
yeah.
and we were speaking. And I was like, wow, that is so cool! Like to know exactly what I can share in what situations, because I'm very like structure systems, and these stories were vague to me. I didn't know like, but what is it about? And I need to have the point, the bullet points, the specific numbers, like the specific thing, like the way to do this. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, maybe this is something for me because this is structured. I have 10 stories that I can share. I have the ways, like in which I can share it. So this is something from me to pick and choose. And then I was like, this is interesting. I should speak with Reme and figure out like which stories to share in which situations. So yes, I'm very happy that we've done it.
Nice. Yeah, and it's so good to hear from you how it has helped you and how now you have your set stories and you know exactly which one you want to use and when and in which situation, because that gives you like the power of strategy. And I know that you are so good in systems and strategies, so I can see how that works together really well. So yeah, so thank you for sharing. And going to the point where you mentioned about vulnerability, sharing your privacy or keeping to yourself, and this because sometimes there is a misunderstanding between private things and personal, and how you share your personal brand, but then you keep your privacy. Have you ever worried about sharing too much?
Mm, yes, yes. I have been worrying because I really didn't wasn't able to see the impact it will have. So when I understood that for probably some of the things I thought will be like too much of sharing will actually trigger some people to see that, oh, this is the situation I have been in. And
Mm,
without this, if I would miss this part, that wouldn't already like this wouldn't resonate with them because
mhm,
they don't see this specific situation that is connecting me with them. So yeah, it's now I know that it's not about the oversharing, but thinking if the sharing, like the thing that I want to share, will have the impact and will connect. You know, not just sharing, but sharing for the impact to have the some kind of effect on the story, the specific piece. And uh, yeah, I think this was what helped me to, you know, to differentiate what to share and what to not share.
yeah, and I find that when you have a reason why you are sharing a specific story, it's more clear to you. Okay, yeah, I'm sharing this specific point this specific moment because I want to highlight this skill or these benefits. And again, you decide the level of detail that you go, but you can share in a more superficial level, or you can go into details, and you are the one in control of that. But still, sharing that piece of your story can bring that connection with people, and they will have the context about, okay, what has been your journey to get to this point, and how all these moments have shaped who you are and what you do, what is your approach to work, and what makes your offer different from others. So that's always something interesting. And as you mentioned before, having that pieces of your stories make your brand more memorable because it's highlighting what makes you different, right?
Exactly. I totally agree with you.
So can you recall specific moment when you get the feedback from someone that maybe get in touch with one of your stories or your pieces of content?
As I said, like this happens in LinkedIn DMs. Every week, I'm getting some stories with because I'm speaking with people and they are mentioning like my posts. So they are mentioning that, oh, I saw your photo when you were doing puzzles, and it's great that you like
Mm-hmm.
the way how you do the business right now, uh, or it was also the story about me going from the corporate to
Mm-hmm.
my own business when I really see the value that I'm giving to people and the results that we achieve together. So a lot of people also resonate with this because in online space we have a lot of people who migrated from from corporate to their own business, and they can resonate with this. So these messages are the confirmations for me that this is the good way of doing this.
Mm. Yeah, and especially because I know that you work with a lot of impact driven businesses,
Mhm.
so I can see how sharing your own process of moving from a corporate role that you didn't feel like the purpose or the meaning of doing that and being there, and all the not optimized systems and ways to do things, and how you move to your own business and doing something that really meaningful to you and that provide the lifestyle that you want, and how that resonate with how you help your clients doing the same and getting the lifestyle that they want and the kind of businesses that they are really proud of,
Mhm.
and wishing to have,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mainly work like with creatives, with coaches, with agency owners, social media managers, copywriters, and they really value stories. And this is what connects them. It's not like analytical brains. They are very impact driven, as you said. They are very creative, and they have this bigger vision, of doing things. So yeah, this really resonates with them.
Nice. So, to someone that is still a bit hesitant about sharing their own personal brand story, what would be your advice for them?
To for sure to think about this through the lenses of what can help people,
Mm.
what will trigger people, and also setting this kind of boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
like what I am eager to share, to which level, as you are saying that we can go really deep, or we can scratch the surface, but just like show the exact moment, but just scratch the surface.
Mm.
So probably this to see what you are comfortable with, which moments you can dive deeper, and which moments to just like mention. And then yes, think about this, like what will help, uh, what will impact the people, and what stories can resonate with them. And if you're like the analytical mind, like the systems think like this, like the story connectors, that you will have the list of stories, and the moments where you can use it. This is very helpful because I have the structure, I have my list, like this is very helpful. It's not bug anymore.
Oh,
So yeah.
yeah, thank you for saying that. And I love I am really grateful that the framework, my story connector framework, is helping you and your business and to keep in your thriving path that you are. Okay, so now a question that I like to ask to all my guests. What part of your personal brand story surprises people the most?
I don't know if this surprised, but like I heard this people saying about the analogy with puzzles, that this is brilliant analogy, and right now they understand
Mm,
how I work. That like it's not just the. mm I'm just very like not into the solutions that you can like cut out.
mm,
So even if I like deliver the templates for my clients and other things, it's always like with the way like to really adjust, to customize, like if this, like do this, think about this, and so on. So it's not about this solution that you have already pre-made, always it needs to fit to your business.
mm,
And that's like why this analogy with puzzles, like this is not the like every other puzzle, but you need to have the specific one that really fit your business. And the same with like with people who are asking me about, okay, so what tool do you like the most?
mm,
Or, okay, so what system I should focus here? I have the coaching company and we provide the programs and courses. Like what systems we could focus on? So I always say, like, I cannot answer this question without knowing more about you, about your business, like without doing the deep dive. I can't tell you what tool I use because, okay, I can tell you what I use, but if it will be good for you, I don't know, because you have other tools that you need to integrate, you have specific features that you need. So some tool will be good for you, some, won't. And that's why I'm saying, like, there won't be like just the solution, like cookie cutter solution that will work perfectly for you. It's always about customizing it for you, going deeper into business, and finding this like specific puzzle that will fit the place. So yes, I would say this analogy is really one thing. Like, wow, this is such a brilliant analogy. Like now I understand. So yeah, I think this one will be the
nice.
best.
Yeah, yeah, it's like an easy way to articulate that idea of
Mhm.
how you help them. And so also so precise because you are about structures and systems and processes. So it makes a lot of sense. Okay, thank you very much. So before we wrap up, how can people learn more about you and what you do?
I'm very active on LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn profile, Aleksandra Badea. You can find there like my posts. You can find the feature section. I have also the website, systemsinplace.co. And just because we were speaking about this, like why it is so important to time track and what to start with, I have the free guide. It's really simple. In it teaches you how to start the time tracking, and it just
Hmm.
gives you the 4 steps that you need to do to start tracking your time with exact instructions. So Reme, I will provide you with the link as well so that you can share it under the episode. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll make sure to share the link to the episode, to the link to the results and the your LinkedIn profile, your website, and all of that, so they can go and check more about what you do and the work that you help your clients to do. So maybe some of them will need some help delegating. So go and check all Aleksandra content there. Thank you very much for this conversation. It was lovely to learn more about you and how you are using your story connectors. Thank you very much for accepting this
Thank you.
invitation.
Thank you so much, Reme. It was great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in to Who Cares About My Story, the podcast on how sharing your personal brand story can impact your business. If you found this episode valuable, consider subscribing or leaving a review. Your feedback means a lot. Did something resonate with you today? Please share your thoughts on the podcast platform or on your socials. I would love to hear from you and give you a shout out. Just tag me on Instagram at Reme Mancera. I can't wait for you to meet our next guest. Until then, remember, your story is relevant and worth telling.